Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with another competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon moveset video analysis guide, whatever you want to call it, on how to use Tsareena. Now, Tsareena is the grass type Pokemon that we got with Sun and Moon, and it has pretty decent stats, an amazing base 120 attack stat, and really decent base 98 defense and special defense stats. In fact, I would actually call it good if it was just 2 points higher, so maybe I'll just call them really good defense and special defense stats. And it has a really cool ability as well, being Queenly Majesty, which protects this Pokemon and its allies from opponents' priority moves. Basically, Bisharp can't Sucker Punch you, Scizor can't Bullet Punch you, Talonflame, rest in peace, can't Brave Bird you. Not that it's probably going to do that most of the time now anyway, but yeah, so it has a few things going for it. On top of that, it does have 4 resistances. Obviously grass, but there's also electric, water, and ground. And it tanks hits. It tanks hits, and it can abuse that great offensive attack stats. So the first set we have is the Choice set. Now this set is Choice Band or Choice Scarf. That's why I named it Choice, because either or work. It can pretty much abuse the fact that Tsareena does have U-turn, and as well as 2 really solid moves in High Jump Kick and Trop Kick. Trop Kick is a new move. It's a 70% power physical grass type attack that 100% lowers the target's attack by 1. I have no idea why it's 70% power as opposed to Lunge being 80 base power and doing the exact same thing. I honestly don't know why. Why did they do that? Why did they do this? Lunge is the same exact thing, but it's just 10 base power more. I have no idea why they did this. But in any case, Trop Kick is actually really solid. And the fact that you can lower something's attack by 1 just by hitting it, even if something comes in resistance, like resist a hit. I'm going to give the example of Scizor. If Scizor comes in on Tsareena, you can go for Trop Kick. That Scizor just came in and got -1 for no reason. But this can run Choice Band or Choice Scarf. Typically, I'd run Jolly on both Choice Band and Choice Scarf. Jolly actually allows you to outspeed max speed Tapu Koko if you are running Jolly on that, so that's a pretty good benchmark to hit when you're running Choice Scarf user. And it does give you momentum with U-turn. High Jump Kick and Trop Kick are your main forms of attacking. U-turn lets you scout, get on out of there, support the team. I would actually run this thing with maybe a Magnezone or Pokemon that appreciate being in. Maybe like a Magearna for like a Volt Turn combination, especially because this thing is going to be forcing in Pokemon such as Scizor, such as Celesteela, and pretty much anything that resists High Jump Kick and Trop Kick. So, or not even resist, but you can take those Steel type attacks. But if your team is weak to Water types like Tapu Fini, I also say you should run Tsareena on it. Tsareena hits incredibly hard, and it has really solid defenses where it actually tanks those hits. Rapid Spin is the final move. Gives you a support sort of option where you can get away. You can pretty much get rid of the hazards, and it spins pretty okay, especially with the fact that it does have U-turn. And what I mean by that is that this thing forces in Pokemon such as Gengar, such as Dhelmise, spin blockers, and by going for U-turn on there, you can go out to your pursuit user, maybe like a Tyranitar or a Bisharp or anything like that, and you can just pursuit trap those Pokemon, get rid of them, and then you can spin later. So it does force switches because all it has is Grass Stab and then High Jump Kick on top of that, but that's pretty much enough. I'm actually going to show you a calc from Adamant Choice Band to just max HP Mega Scizor. Adamant Choice Band is 47 to 56%, so that's an 85% chance to 2-hit KO Mega Scizor, and that 2-hit KOs regular Scizor into Mega Scizor 100% of the time. Regular Scizor comes in, takes 64 to 75, 100% dies a turn it Mega Evolves, and it cannot Bullet Punch you because of Queenly Majesty. So that's just to show you something cool that you could do with it. I would also run Jolly instead of Adamant because even though you just saw that calc, I would actually run Jolly because Adamant, as you can see, hits 243 speed, but Jolly hits the speed mark of 267, which allows it to outspeed Jolly Bisharp, Jolly Breloom, just Pokemon of that, and Adamant Mamoswine, and that means that Adamant Mamoswine is going to be hit before it can go for Ice Crash. It obviously cannot go for Ice Shard. Breloom can't go for something like Mach Punch versus you. I mean, Bullet Seed or Rock Tomb aren't going to hurt anyway, but it could be like SD Superpower, or it could just be Superpower in general, and you'll be faster than that, knock it out with a High Jump Kick. Same thing with Bisharp. You're able to outspeed it and hit that thing with a High Jump Kick and knock it out before it can hit you with a knockoff. You can actually check +2 Bisharp. I was going to call Big Sharp because of that, but you can actually check +2 Bisharp because it can't hit you with Sucker Punch, and you're faster than it. You can hit it with a high jump kick and knock it out. Now next up we have, I think Choice is probably one of his best sets, where there'd be Choice Band or Choice Guard. They both have similar roles. One just hits a lot harder, but again, the fact that it does outspeed Tapu Koko is a pretty good speed tier, and it can also tank hits from Tapu Koko. Speaking of which, we have the Cleric / Support set. Now I call it Cleric / Support because you don't necessarily need every move on this set, but the Cleric / Support set runs max special defense, max HP. This allows it to take on Pokemon / Tapu Fini, such as Tapu Fini. You actually naturally beat Combine Tapu Fini. It needs a lot of boost before it's actually doing damage to you, and Trop Kick is like a 3 KO on Tapu Fini. Synthesis allows you to get back recovery as your recovery move. Aromatherapy, that's why it's a cleric. It supports the team. If your team is burnt, if your team is poisoned, even if this mon itself is burnt or poisoned or paralyzed, it can get rid of that aromatherapy. And then the last move can either be Rapid Spin if you want to be more of a support mon, or U-Turn. U-Turn is also a very viable option in this set. Rapid Spin is very solid if you want to obviously get rid of hazards, but U-Turn just gives you so much momentum for your team. Another option is also Toxic. If you just want to wear down opponents, I'm gonna say like Pokemon, let's say like Dragonance Gyarados. If they try and come in and they intimidate you, you can Toxic upon switching, and you can just keep spamming Trop Kick. The fact that it always lowers your opponent's stats by 1, you're gonna be beating them 1v1. Couple that with Toxic when you're wearing them down, as well as lowering their attack stat. It's a very solid support Pokemon, and it runs max special defense because that allows it to take on Pokemon such as Tapu Fini better, such as Tapu Koko. It can even eat a hit from Tapu Lele if necessary, but it allows it to take advantage of that high special defense stat. Like, this mon eats hits, man. It also takes on a Alolan Raichu, just to name a few Pokemon. It's not 2 KO'd by Specs Kingdra, and that's just a few Pokemon that this Pokemon can take advantage of. But yeah, you can either run U-Turn, Rapid Spin, or Toxic in that last set. I like to run U-Turn, gives you momentum. I also like to run Rapid Spin, depending on if my team needs Hazard Control. But if you have a Defog, or if you have anything else for Hazard Control, you don't need it on Tsareena. So Leftovers is the main item of choice. I guess Rocky Helmet can also be used, but I think Leftovers, just longevity, is so much better. Especially with the fact that most of the time you're actually not going to get knocked off. You're not switching this thing in the muck, and you're faster than the muck, and you can U-turn out of there. You're not switching it into Bisharp unless you have High Jump Kick. High Jump Kick is also another option if you want to be able to hit steals, such as Bisharp or any steel type in general. So High Jump Kick is also an option, even on the support set. Next up, we have dual screens, and dual screens, the fact that it can't be hit with priority, the fact that it is decently fast. I mean, 267 is not so bad. It works as a great dual screener just because it's so bulky. So it does learn Reflect and Light Screen. You're going to be running Light Clay, that way you boost the turns of Reflect and Light Screen. U-turn to give momentum, straight up. I don't think Rapid Spin is worth it on this set. I think you want to get up screens, and then you want to U-turn out into something that can come in and take advantage of the fact that the screens are up. It can start either setting up or start attacking, and this is why it makes it a very solid dual screener. A dual screener like Azo, for example, yes, it does have U-turn, yes, it is faster, and yes, it does have taunt, but it's not bulky enough to the point where it can actually afford to set up dual screens multiple times and get on out of there, whereas Tsareena can do that. And you can actually run Synthesis as the last move, Trop Kick, anything like that. Trop Kick gives you some sort of offensive option. Synthesis gives you longevity, so you can actually just set up screens again and again and again. If anything, this is a really bulky dual screener, and it just has the option to set it up again and again. Just maximize speed, that way you have the opportunities to set up your screens. Next up, we have Life Orb Attacker. So instead of being locked into a choice move, I think Life Orb Attacker is a very solid option, because all you really need is High Jump Kick, Trop Kick, and U-turn, and then you have Synthesis to obviously heal up, and that allows you to heal up versus Pokemon such as Tapu Fini. You can even eat up hits from, like I said, Tapu Koko. You can just Synthesis up, hit that thing with a Trop Kick, U-turn out of there, which also gives you momentum, because Tsareena does force switches, as I did say. Pokemon like Celesteela, Pokemon like Skarmory might want to come in. You can U-turn out of there, go out to your Magnet Zones, trap them. Scissors want to come in, same thing, go out to Magnet Zone and trap them. And this thing does force switches on bulky ground types and water types, as I said, Tapu Fini many times. So I think this is a really solid set. I've actually tested this set. I've tested all these sets. My favorite has to be the Cleric as well as the Choice, but Life Orb has definitely been working for me as well. Because people don't expect a Life Orb Attacker. They either expect like Leftovers or Choice or the Cleric one that Gator's been using. Speaking of Gator, shouts to him. That's my boy. But I think Life Orb is really solid with the fact that it eats hits just because of its natural bulk and can sit this up. Really nice if your team is weak to Tapu Fini. Any of these sets are good if your team is weak to Tapu Fini, because all of them can beat it 1v1 just because of Chop Kick. And then we have other options. It does have access to low sleep if you want a weaker move than high jump kick. I mean, high jump kick is strong as hell, but low sleep allows you to lower your opponent's speed by 1. Player Health is also an option. I don't actually like it because it doesn't really give it much coverage. Yeah, what are you hitting? Dragon and what? Fighting? That doesn't really do much with this. Most of the time, you have high jump kick, you have U-turn, you have chop kick. Chop kick is usually better than going for player Health most of the time. It's not going to KO most dragon types anyway. I'd rather U-turn out of there. If Latios is going to come in, then go for player Health. I just rather have this coverage. I think this coverage is way better, or any of this coverage is way better than player Health, but it is an option. And the return is also an option if you want to be able to hit poison types, like Muck on a choice band set. High jump kick is going to 2k Muck anyway, but if you're banded anyway, but if you want to hit poison types, return is also an option. Assault Vest is also a very viable option. You can just run a full-on attacking set with Assault Vest. It does have the stats to back it up, and it'll just be you turning out of there, getting support. But that's pretty much all I have for Tsareena. Thank you everybody for watching. I do encourage you to check out the playlist down below. Of course, if you missed any of my previous moveset videos, there's also showcases on my channel where I use these Pokemon in lives. I encourage you to check that out. There's also another playlist on my channel that says that. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and Twitch. The links are down below. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, of course. Also, I know I'm saying feel free a lot, but yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Later.